Good morning and happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for making the time to catch this replay. If you do, please drop a comment, let me know you're watching, and drop any questions that you have as you're watching, and I will come back and answer every single one. Ooh, got a hair on me today. Last week, I talked about how to get the most out of a business coach or program. But how do coaches help you get amazing results even when you don't think you're good at the thing that you're hiring coaches to help you with? Hey, Sierra. Oh, I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you for joining me live today. Today, I'm going to be talking about what it's like to work with a coach. And even if you've been in a program before or are currently in a program, today's Facebook Live is going to give you brand new perspective, breaking down what goes into a well-crafted program and how it helps you get results. And I even have a really fun prop I'm going to share with you today, so stick around, you won't want to miss it. Now, if you don't know me or don't know me well, my name is Karie Price. I'm a brand messaging coach, helping ambitious service-based business owners find and own the words to stand out, be heard, and make your message roar. So, before I jump into what it's like to work with a coach, let's talk about the reasons why you hire a coach or invest in a program in the first place, right? And if you're joining me live, please say hello so I can greet you properly. If you are watching the replay, please let me know so I can come back and thank you for watching. And if you think this is a valuable topic that people in your community would appreciate, please share. Hey, Tracy, so good to see you. Okay, so let's start by talking about the reasons why you hire a coach or you invest in a program. It probably boils down to one of three things. The first is because you don't know how to do the thing, right? We cannot be good at everything. We need to be really good at our area of expertise and what we do to serve our clients, but we can't be good at everything. And it takes a lot of time to do that. And because we're not good, we are probably seeking out ways to get better, ways to shore up, to learn that thing, right? There's too many things to learn as a business owner. So that's probably reason number one, that there's just something you don't know, right? And you want to know better. Similarly and related, reason number two, you're probably looking to hire a coach or invest in a program is you don't want to be overwhelmed trying to figure out that thing, right? You might be piecing together content, free content that you can find, maybe little mini programs, books that you're reading. You're trying to get better at the thing, but you're on information overwhelm. So you might choose to work with a coach or invest in a program because they've centralized everything for you in one place, right? And the third reason, also related, but sort of a different facet of it, is you want to learn from an expert who can break that thing down for you in a way that you can actually achieve results. Will you guys let me know? I've got yard work happening today, and of course they're here right now working outside the window. Hopefully it's not too noisy. If you have any trouble hearing me, please let me know, okay? So I can move the mic closer or figure something out. Okay, so those are probably the three reasons why you consider hiring a coach or investing in a program. You don't know the thing, right? That there's some area that you need help with. You don't want to be overwhelmed by it, trying to figure it out on your own, piecing together all the parts. And three, you want to learn from an expert that knows how to break that down for you in a way that gets you results. Hey, Tanya, thank you so much. Okay, so let's assume, right, that's one of those three or all three reasons you are considering investing with a coach or in a program. Well, let's talk about what that's really like. And I want to do that by sharing an analogy with you. Not related to business, but I think it's going to help lock this in for you. We're going to talk about what it's like and then what we can learn from this, okay? So here's what it's like to work with a coach. I am not a painter, okay? So it's funny. I used to say I'm not a creative person. I have since come to terms with I'm creative and it shows up in different ways. But I used to think that being creative meant you had an artistic ability, right? And as much as I would love to have artistic talent painting is one of those things. I'm not talking about like painting the walls in your house, but like creating art, right? Painting's one of those things I'm always so amazed by, and I am not a painter. Like seriously, stare at the blank canvas kind of thing. Sierra, I hate when people say they aren't creative. Yeah, I am a recovering non-creative person. Like I now recognize my creativity shows up in different ways. We sort of have this perception of what being creative means, right? So I'm not a painter, but I want to feel like I can express my creativity through art in some way. So have you ever, let me know in the comments, have you ever been to one of these paint and sip parties? There's different chains all throughout the country. Here we have Pinot's Palette. So it's one of these places where you go and it's a painting class and you're encouraged, you can bring wine and snacks, bring a group of friends together to paint a painting, right? I am addicted to these things. I have a dozen or more paintings. Some on the walls in my house, some sitting in the closet because I have more paintings than I really want to display in my house, but I just love doing them so much. But let me talk to you about what these parties are really like if you've never been there. And if you've been there, let me know. And if you enjoy them as much as I do. But let me tell you what they're like. Kelly loves them. Yes, Kelly, these are so much fun. In fact, I think I'm itching to go to another one soon. But let me explain to you what it's like. So you walk into the room and you've signed up in advance. You can sign up to sit next to your buddies, right? Like if you've got other friends who are attending the painting class too. And you walk in, they've got all the easels set up. They've got your paints already portioned out for you. They've got great music playing, so it's a lot of fun. You've got your snacks and your drinks, wine or non-alcoholic, it's fine. But you come together with your friends. You've got the aprons so you don't mess up your clothes, right? They've laid everything out for you. And the person who is instructing the painting class is an actual artist, like professional artists who, paint for a living that they bring in to teach these classes, right? So let me share with you what my first experience was like, because now it's a little bit different because I know what to expect and I have a lot more fun. But okay, so I go to my first one and I'm all excited. I'm totally nervous, right? And I sit down on my easel and they've got the brushes, water cups, like everything, right? It's all laid out. Like you don't have to think about anything. And the whole time I'm thinking like, I am not a painter. And I see the painting that we're going to paint, like it's up on the wall. So we knew what we were signed up for, right? I'm like, there is no way. There is no way I'm going to be able to paint that. And the class begins and the instructor up at the front of the stage just starts walking us through step by step. Okay, you're going to take the fat brush and you're going to dip it in some water, make sure it gets soft, dry it off, swirl it into your blue paint. If your blue paint's too thick, add a little water, thin it out. And I want you to draw a line in the middle of the canvas, just straight across. And now I want you to paint everything on the bottom half. Just paint that solid blue. Paint it, paint it, paint it. Use that big fat brush, paint it, paint it. And then you're going to flip it over and you're going to go to the middle of the canvas and you're going to take the medium-sized brush in the red paint and you're going to make a square that's 3 fingers wide. So kind of eyeball 3 fingers wide, put that in the middle, paint a square. The whole time, by the way, I'm painting the painting. I'm like, I suck at this. Okay, this is, I don't know how this is going to turn into a painting, but I suck at this. And so I'm just following along the steps. 3 fingers wide, got it. Okay, change brush color or paint color, rinse it out. Take the skinny tiny brush and do this, right? And I'm following along. We take a break in the middle, go eat snacks, get some wine. And I'm looking at my notes to make sure I'm not missing anything. Seriously, at the halfway point, I'm like, and by the way, I'm looking at everybody else's. I'm going, oh, okay, they're really good. That's way better than mine. Oh my gosh. Okay, they're not as good, but that's really fun. Like everyone's having fun doing it, right? The instructor has broken it down into pieces like we actually can consume. And I'm not kidding. The whole time I'm going, I suck at this. I suck at this. And then we get to the end of the class And, you know, while you're working on a painting, you're like here on the painting, right? You're like, she says to paint right here. And I'm like really focused on my thing. Or you're looking at every brush stroke, every piece of paint. Like you're sticking on the painting. You're so fixated on the piece. But then you get to the end and you step back and you go, oh my gosh, I just painted a painting. Like, and it's a real legit painting. I did that. But the whole time you're like fixated. Ooh, there was one I did. I'm going to show you guys one of my paintings. It's actually the one I'm going to show you. We were having so much fun. There was one point in the painting where we were like, this just looks like a tornado. How is this going to turn into the thing that we want it to be? Because you're focused on the piece, right? The part that the instructor is guiding you in. But when you're all done, you take a step back. It doesn't look like that. You guys want to see my latest one, the most recent one I did? Again, not a painter. I can follow instructions though. Look what I painted. How cool is that? I'm all crooked. There we go. For a non-painter, this is what I walked away with. But can you imagine at one point when we were working on this right here? I'm like, what's the tornado? I mean, I knew what we were painting, but you get so fixated on the pieces as you're going through it. You're like, how does this feed the whole? How is this going to impact the beauty of what I'm going to create at the end? Sierra, yeah, see, it's good, right? The whole time though, I'm like, I suck at this. I suck at this. But I had faith. I followed the instructor, professional painter, right? And she got me to the end. Now, there's actually a whole lot of lessons I want to share with you about going to a painting class and what you can take away from that and what it's like to work with a coach. And I am going to refer to my notes because I really don't want to miss anything. So the first thing I want to say to you is, okay, my first painting class, the whole time I'm like, I suck at this, right? I don't do that anymore. Because I know that I am going and they're going to help me like get results that I don't know how to get on my own, right? So my first thing I want you to take away from this is don't waste time focused on what you're not good at. If you're not good at it, get help from a coach in a program, whatever, and then let go that you're not good at it because that's why you're there. That's why you are choosing to invest time with that person, right? They will help you get there. So just let go that you're not good at it because it doesn't serve you. It's just going to slow your results down or at least your enjoyment in the process, right? Like I have so much more fun now. Now, could I just pick up a canvas and some paints and like do it myself? No, still not. But I totally love feeling like an artist and seeing success and having paintings in my house because I go do it in a class. Okay. So let go and don't focus on what you're not good at. The second thing I want you to take away from this story is recognize that you could try and figure it out on your own. I could have bought books, watched YouTube videos, gone to Michael's or Hobby Lobby or whatever arts and crafts store you have, and I could have bought a bunch of paints and a bunch of brushes and not known if I was getting the right thing, right? I could have tried to figure all that on my own. Probably would have cost me more money. It definitely would have taken me a lot more time because even though I knew the end result of what I was going to paint, I didn't know how to break that down into the steps that like, what do I have to put behind it, right? To layer the color up on front of it. Like I didn't know how to do any of that stuff, right? So you could go figure it out on your own, or you can find that coach, mentor, or teacher to help you, and it's going to accelerate your results. In 2 hours, created this painting in just 2 hours, right? This would have taken me, I don't know, weeks if I'm lucky, days at the most, many more hours than 2, and a lot more money of like trial and error in figuring that out, right? The third thing I want you to take away from this story is that you don't need to know everything. So let me explain what I mean by that. When I go to these painting classes, I don't need to know that there are, I don't know, hundreds of different paint brushes that do different things, that there's different kinds of paints. We painted with acrylic. I don't need to know about watercolor and oils and pen. I don't need to know about any of that stuff. I don't even need to know what the brushes are called. I don't need to know what the name of the technique is that we're using. All I need to know is what's going to get me the results, right? So when you are looking to invest with a coach or program, and I see this happen sometimes where people think like, oh, that's it? Like that's all that like that seems so simple. But in reality, it's the simplification of what that coach, mentor, or teacher is helping you do to get results. That's the most powerful. And that comes from their experience. It's actually the inexperienced teacher who feels like they need to tell you all this stuff. And then guess what? That puts you right back into the area of overwhelm. Instead, less is more. A well-crafted program will feel simple. It'll feel easy. And you'll come out the other side. Well, okay, sometimes it'll feel hard. Like, because just like when I was painting, I'm like, I don't know, am I doing this right? Is this going to be like, sometimes you're going to not know how it's going to play out to the end, but it's what you need to get you the results. Because that artist teaching the class was not trying to help me become a master painter. They weren't trying to help me be a painting teacher. They were trying to help me paint a painting. Right? So do you want a program that gets you the results in the fewest amount of steps possible, like streamlined from experience? The teacher can say, here's what you need to know. You don't need to know about all this other stuff you think you need to know. Here's what's going to get you the results and like beeline you there. Or do you want I'll give you hundreds of ways that you can achieve that unlimited, training programs or whatever. And now you've got to figure out how to weed through all that and find the thing that's going to get you the results, right? Which would you want? So when you are looking at a program or working with a coach, and if it seems simple, they actually just did you the best service possible. Because if it feels complicated, if you feel overwhelmed, then that expert didn't take all of their expert knowledge and boil it down for you in a way that gets you the results the fastest. Okay? The next thing I want you to take away from this story is a group program, much like a group painting class, allows you to learn from the expert. So in this case, that painting teacher who was up on a platform, with a mic, so we all could hear. I learned as much from the teacher as I did from the people around me. So I learned from the person next to me when I was like, am I doing this right? And they're like, yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I think we're right. Or I would just watch and see how people were taking it, making a variation of it. I learned as much from watching the people around me and, sort of validating. I was like, am I following the instructions right? As I did from watching the instructor, right? So you will get benefit both from the expert that you're working with and the community of people who are also doing it too. This is the beauty of the group program, because you're all going through it. And sometimes you just need like sanity check with other people, or you see how they interpreted the instruction. They're like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Let me try that too. Right? So you will learn as much from the people around you and observing them as you will from the expert. And then kind of not related to the story, but I want to use the same analogy to talk about the difference between being in that. Oh, sorry, it's a little loud outside now. The difference between being in that group class versus if I wanted private painting lessons from that same artist, and the investment difference, right? So this is the difference when you're thinking about working with a coach one-on-one versus in a group setting. In a group setting, the investment is able to be lower because that one person can teach more than one person at a time, right? When you go to these painting classes, boy, I'm going to guess there's 70 people, 50, 70 people in the room while that artist is teaching. And let's just call it $50. It was $50 for me to go and do that class, right, for that 2 hours and walk out the door with a painting. If I wanted that artist to work with me one-on-one, I don't know, I probably would have spent hundreds of dollars. And it probably, I wouldn't have done it any faster. So it's an opportunity to get the experience from that expert in a more cost-effective way, right? Now, in some cases, you do want one-on-one personalized attention. My sister, for example, this is an unrelated, but another example. So she's really gotten into Pilates lately, and she really loves her group Pilates classes. But when her back is aching just a little bit more, or she just really wants to go deeper into her Pilates practice, she books a one-on-one session with her Pilates coach. And it's more money, but it's all focused on her. And she gets individualized attention. Like, I know that overall the session would be great, but man, my hip's really bugging me today. Can we focus on loosening up my hip? And so that's why I want individualized attention, right? So you'll pay more for that, but you'll get individualized attention. And the same thing applies when you're working with a coach one-on-one versus in a program or in a group. Hey, Valerie, good to see you. So, well, that wasn't part of the story. I just wanted to equate that because I think there's so much benefit that can be had from programs, and I invest in programs myself a lot. I do some one-on-one coaching in areas where I really want individualized attention, but I do mostly group coaching because I want access to these experts and a community of people who are going through it, right? Where I can bounce ideas off of and learn from them and share what I'm learning too and sort of help each other out, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Like, that's what it's like to work with a coach. It's like going to a painting class. Let me know what questions you have around that. And let me just tie this back to how that works in messaging, because you're like, okay, painting, great, I get it. How does that work in messaging? Well, I do the same thing with my clients, right? I have a program that people can plug into, and based on 15 years of experience developing brand messaging for clients using this same process, I've fine-tuned and identified those things that get my clients results. You don't have to understand everything about branding. You don't have to understand everything about messaging. I don't use a lot of jargon. Who cares what the thing is called, right? Like, whatever the fat brush is, I just called it the fat brush, right? The instructor called it the fat brush because that's what matters. That's what's relatable to your ideal client. You got to be able to break it down in a way that they can understand it and take action and get results from it, right? And so that's what I do for my clients. You're able to plug in and you get individualized support from me, even in a group setting, but it's similar to the idea of, as the paint instructor said, okay, do this. And while we're all doing it, she's walking around the room, just seeing if anybody's stuck, giving feedback if we're stuck, helping us make adjustments if we made a mistake. No, I'm also a Bob Ross fan. If anyone knows who Bob Ross is, he used to be on PBS and he did paintings. He said there's no such thing as mistakes. They're happy accidents. And so, the teacher's walking around the room, helping us learn, create something from our happy accidents. And that's what it's like, right? To get attention from the instructor inside a group program. And if you've been struggling with your marketing, and you think it's because you don't have the words to explain what you do in a way that your ideal client cares about and you get results, maybe it's time to work on your messaging, okay? So I actually have my next live webinar is going to be coming up, and my signups for that will be opening up soon. But if you want to be one of the first people to know when the live webinar is open for registration, which is where I break down for you the 7 foundational elements that you need in your messaging, why they give you a competitive advantage, and how you can start developing them for yourself today. Think of it like as a little mini class, right? Well, it's a master class because I'm actually going to go pretty deep. It's an hour long. Then sign up for the waitlist so that as soon as registration for that live webinar opens up, the live masterclass. Go to karieprice.com/waitlist for that. In that masterclass, I will be telling you more about my program and if it's the right time for you to enroll in that. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. So the masterclass is going to be happening in April, and April is my birthday month. I am the person that celebrates all month long. So there's actually going to be an extra special birthday bonus for those that join me live in that webinar and then decide that they want to work with me inside the program. So no decision now. Get on the wait list just so you can know when the registration for that free masterclass opens up. Just go to karieprice.com/waitlist and I will let you know when that opens up. All right. Let me know if there are any questions. I will stick around for questions just for another 30 seconds or so because I know there is a delay as this hits Facebook. Again, if you're watching the replay, make sure you're dropping your questions in below and I will come back and answer every single one. If you feel like this video would be helpful to others who want to know what it's like to work with a coach and you think that this analogy would help make sense, please share the video as well. I would appreciate that. In the meantime, I will be back again next week. I've got a couple different topics lined up. I haven't decided what it's going to be, but I will be back here right here on this page at 11 a.m. Eastern next Tuesday for your next messaging mini class, which will be in April. You guys, we're wrapping up the end of the first quarter. I hope that you have been achieving all of the goals that you have set out for yourself. And if not, then take a moment and evaluate what you need to help you spring into the second quarter of the year. There's still plenty of time to make 2018 the best year yet. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love being able to come and be live with you every Tuesday. And until next week, don't settle for sounding like everybody else. Make sure that you can stand out. Go out and make your message roar. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you next week. Bye.